Welcome back to the channel, guys. So this will be a CWL video for bases and attack strategies. So whichever one of the links you need, the base links or the strategy links will be down in the description, so make sure to check them out. So this is a double poison base. They are mostly ESL bases, but then I edited the traps to fit CWL and a bit of the buildings as well. So that was the first one. This is the second one. This is also a double poison base. I have 3 double poison bases for you guys. The traps are set against Root Rider mainly because that's the main strategy that people use, and then the reduced fireball value. That's why it's a double poison base. So 3 double poison bases, and then I have 2 double rage bases for people that like double rage bases. I baited the right hand side. This is where people mostly enter on bases, and then traps, a bit of traps. So yeah, cop them out. Then the double rage bases, these ones are more fireball prone, but then I just added a bit of bait to it. This one I put a hook tower, so if you're fireballing, you'll have to be careful with your warding. A bit of Teslas at the top side. So this is a double rage base, a very old base from like 2-3 seasons ago, but I edited it. So this is the last one, the 5th one. I hope I'll be able to put it in an orderly manner. This is the 5th base. If you're here for attack strategies, you can just skip through to the video. I'll be there shortly. So this is another double rage base. I edited it. Traps are set just into here and into here. A bit of mind games. I left this place open and just do what you can. You can also spam decorations too, but then don't spam decorations in a way that they will expose the baits. So yeah, these are the attack strategies I'm going to show you guys. Mass Invis. I have 5 attack strategies for you guys, from the Mass Invis Dragons to the Mass Invis Root Riders to the Fireball Rocket Loons to the Fireball Root Riders, and then the most common double overgrowth Root Riders. So this is a Mass Invis Dragon strategy, and for Mass Invis, it can work on any base, like once you've mastered it, and then for normal mode. But then I recommend using them on bases that have a core. So you can see this, the middle of this base has a rage tower compartment and a bunch of buildings. I also have rocket loons. Now this is something that most players that are not pros don't use. They don't use the rocket loons to path their royal champion. So it's used. I use it in Fireball, I use it in Spirit Walks, Massive Spirit Walks and Mini Spirit Walk. So I have the rocket loons in this army. If you like the army, copy it. And yeah, you can see the core of this base is already gone, and then I also got some extra value. So let me speed it up a bit. She also cleared out the second rage tower. So once you can get into the core of the base, that's the main thing with Mass Invis strategies. Once you get into the core of the base, the rest is just history. Let me pause it here. So now you can see the pathing that the RC has created. So now you want to pick a side. This is the side you want to send your queen and your siege barracks. I have a queen. Some people use the king with the snake bracelet, with the siege barracks, but then I use the queen instead of the king. So yeah, this is the weaker side. Let me show that again. This is the pathing the real champion has created. You want her to create a good pathing into the core of the base, and then you pick the weaker side for your queen and the siege barracks to go to, and then the heavier side for your dragons to go to. So that's the main idea with dragon strategy. So let me play it now. You will see the CC building is here. Mostly fun is inside. So I have a poison spell in the army as well. So you can see queen and siege barracks. I also have an ice golem in the army. You can take 2 ice golem, you can take wall breakers if you want. So now take a look at this part of the base. I have an ice hound and an ice block spell. I'm not using wall breakers, but this is my main default army. I use the ice hound paired with an ice block spell, and it just helps to negate a lot of damage. You can see I sense the ice hound and then froze it for the air defense and for the enemy real champion. So that way I don't have to use my minion prince ability early or my warding ability early. That's the main use of the ice hound. It's like an ability on its own. So you can see it also froze the scatter shot, so no need for me to pop early abilities, any of the early abilities. So now you can see traps. We're into another part of the base. I can use the warding ability. Now one thing that you need to note about this thing is that I see a lot of noobs do is they try to use both the warding ability and the minion prince ability at the same time. So what you want to do is to separate it. One part of the base, you can see this part of the base was a bit heavy. Where's my pen? This part of the base was a bit heavy, and this part of the base may be heavy, just depending on how the base is. So you pick one of them for your warding ability, and then the second one for your minion prince ability to reduce the damage. So don't try to use both of them at the same time. Like I see some people overlapping the minion prince ability and the warding ability. That is bad. So this is the Mass Invis Dragon strategy. Let me show another. I think I did 2 of it. So this base, this is a double poison base. It's not like the double rage base that had the town hall in the core, but this is a double poison base and it has buildings in the core. So it's still the same idea. Once you see buildings in the core, Mass Invis is almost always the best thing to use. Not that they don't work on any other bases, but it's just the best. And you can see it is CWL. You have 15 bases to choose from. So you can easily pick the one that is best for your strategy or the strategy you've mastered. So yeah, this one, my RC was going funny a bit. I just rerouted her. And then most times you will use one Invis to reroute her into the core. You also have rocket loons to try and clear buildings like the other one. So you can see I rerouted her into the core. She still stepped out, but she had already gotten, you know, a decent part of the core. Imagine I didn't get the core at all. That would be bad. If it was a base with the town hall in the middle, I would have gotten the town hall, you know, forced her to get the town hall. So yeah, once you see bases that have a decent core, I'll show other bases that are diamond or box bases that don't have a core, but this is an example of a base with a core, and mass invis is always the best for it. So let me speed it up now. RC has exhausted most of her stuff. CC will pull. The hook tower also pull the RC, but not the end of the world. You can see the funnels. Now wait, let me pause. You can see the funnels that she has created here. So now on the weaker side, this is the weaker side. All that is there is the scatter shot, the mortar, the bomb tower, this, and then the town hall. So you can send your queen and then your siege barracks along that side. Now the heavier side with the monolith and this one, that's where you send your dragon. So that's the idea behind the dragon strategy. Weaker side, the hero and the siege barracks, and then this side. Now take a look at this ice hound. I was a bit late here, but this is the same. This is the idea. So I sent my ice hound to tanks. Take a look at everything that is tanking. It's tanking the monolith, it's tanking the minion prince, it's tanking the RC. But then I popped it late, so it froze stuff. It didn't exactly, you know, my ice block spell was late. But yeah, it negated the damage. I didn't have to use my minion prince ability or my king ability early. So it was when I was getting closer into the base, I just popped the ability. So that ice hound and the ice block spell saves you from using an early ability. And then the rest of your rocket loons, just use them to clear out air defense. If I had more air defense, if I had more, I would have cleared out this other air defense too. So this is also a planned hit. You have, I think, 24 hours or 23 hours to plan your hit. So you can plan for each air defense, you can plan for whatever. Now, warding ability has expired. I'm into another damage area of the base. I popped the warding ability, the minion prince ability. He also hit the town hall as well. So that reduces stuff. You can see my ice golem towards the, what's this called, multi-gear. And then the dragons will just clear off the rest of the base. I have a baby dragon for funnel, or you know, you can plan other stuff for funnel. You have time to think. This is CWL. So yeah, let's get into mass invis root riders. So mass invis root riders is very similar to the mass invis dragons. You're just then sacrificing 2 invis spells for a recall spell or an overgrowth spell. In this case I did both, so I have only 8 invis. Meanwhile, I'll have 12 invis. Is it 12 or 11 invis with my mass invis dragons? So yeah, this is, you can see this is a ring, is a base with a core, but then the buildings in the core are not much. They're just like 2 buildings in the core. This is a bit of the core, but you know, not core, like center. So yeah, these are the kind of bases you don't want to really use a mass invis, because it's not really spaced out. It's spaced out well, so the invis won't cover everything so much. And yeah, so mass invis root rider over mass invis dragons is just maybe the sweeper can influence the decision. The crusher mortar, if you're taking out the crusher mortar with your RC charge, it's always good to use the mass invis root riders, because nothing will kill them at the end of the day. So yeah, you can see I've cleared the splitter, I cleared the crusher mortar. I didn't clear the craziest value, but I cleared enough for a parting for the root riders. So at this point, I'll just do it like a double overgrowth root riders. I think most of you are familiar with the double overgrowth root riders. I'll come in here behind the splitter. You can see the splitter is pointing in this direction. So I'll come in behind the splitter. I would overgrow the town hall early. That's why I have 1 overgrowth. Now, if there's a lot more value in the core, you can choose to drop the overgrowth spell and just use your warding ability early on. But yeah, I did an overgrowth spell on the town hall and then went around it. I also have the eternal tome. I'm using the eternal tome because my RC doesn't have her ability. She doesn't, her fox will most likely die, so that's just to keep her alive. If it's the heal tome, you know, if anything crazy is targeting her, she won't stay alive. So yeah, that stuff, funnel, and then the troop thrower as well. The king moves at the extreme outside. I dropped my queen here to kind of funnel the troops inside, but then king is at the extreme outside. He's with the snake bracelet to funnel more, to make sure they don't go around and far away. So yeah, I have this. You can also use the heal tome, I said so, depending on what you want to do. But then I have the eternal tome very soon, because that's a lot of damage. My she's taking a lot of damage, but she went out of the eternal tome and she still died because she has no ability, she has no fox. That's why I used the eternal tome. So yeah, queen is in the core. I popped her ability. This is not Legends League that you have the giant arrow, so you can use the magic mirror. You can use whatever ability that works best for you. So you can see funnel, just clean up at this point. I have the snake bracelet and the spiky ball to clear up more trash along the outside. You can see this building here. I think I ended up using my spiky ball to take it out so that I will not hit the RC. or time fail. So yeah, this is the idea behind the Mass Invis Root Rider. I will show one more base, and that's also a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the fourth one. This is also Mass Invis Root Rider. As you can see, this one has a bit more of a core. There are 3 buildings in the core, but then you can use it. It's Mass Invis, so you can take out a bit of the buildings in the core, not an extreme value. So you can see here, I also use the rocket loons to trim the pathing for my RC. I used more to make sure that she just goes to the buildings I want her to go to. Any of those outside buildings, you can see, imagine if she went to the top side and she rerouted back, or she went into the monolith. So that's what you use your rocket loons for. So there's a rocket loon, I think 8 rocket loons I have to use to navigate your RC into the base. And yeah, so here I got the crusher motor as well. And then once you get the crusher motor, it's best to use Root Riders over Dragon. It just depends. There are lots of stuff, but then that affects either you're using Root Riders or you're using Dragons in hard mode. But this is normal mode. You can bully any base as long as you don't make any mistake with your strategy. So yeah, you can see the pathing has already been set. Now, regards to where you want to enter after doing your spirit walk, you can just choose. Like, you must have made the plan before, but then here you can see this is a bit more. These buildings are here, these buildings are here. The pathing is not slim, but then here, this is only one compartment here, and then you can just have your king and your queen move along the outside, and then overgrowth where you need to overgrowth. Maybe the town hall, maybe the whatever you feel that is doing so much damage or messing up your pathing. That's what the overgrowth spell is for. You can also choose to. If I had 2 overgrowth spells, 2 invis spells instead of an overgrowth spell, I would have gotten the monolith and the multi-gear, but I don't know if that's good enough. But you can see here the splitter in this direction. I use the overgrowth on it. Then I'll wait for the overgrowth to expire, then pop the warding ability. I think I popped the warding ability prematurely here. But yeah, this is still the same thing. And everybody just goes. I think my RC did not die here. So yeah, this is the idea behind Mass Invis Root Rider. So there's Mass Invis Root Rider, Mass Invis Dragons. I'm hoping that you all know how to do the Invis cycle, so I don't need to go through that as well. So now we are going into Fireball. Fireball Rocket Loons and Fireball Root Riders. Now, if you see any base that is compact like this, all these Rage and Poison bases, let me pause it. All these Rage and Poison bases over here, the best thing to do is just Fireball. So if you're a Fireball player or you can do Fireball, or you have a Fireball player in your clan, refer them to any one of these bases, whether it's Fireball Root Rider player or Fireball Rocket Loon player. But yeah, with this one, once the Fireball is pretty much set, you're good to go. Now on these bases, once you land on the Rage Tower, if you can navigate your way to the Rage Tower, the entire compartment is gone. Every single building, once you place your quakes well, of course. So yeah, here I didn't even have to land. Wait, I didn't show you guys. There were Teslas here, so just beware of where you're dropping it. This is CWL, and the higher you go, it could be champ 1, it could be champ 2. People trap, most common entry. So be careful of where you're dropping your warding. Try to test with loons. Try to test with an archer in case you're entering into a silly bait, whether it's giant bombs or Tesla farm. Test before you drop your warding and your sneezy, because there are also some people that put double black mines for the sneezy early on. So yeah, this is the default army. You can also use an angry jelly on your warden. It just depends, or if you're an expert with the strategy, you know when to use your sneezy. So yeah, I just did 2 invis here, and then I landed here. I didn't want to do too much and mess up the fireball. So that was just a simple fireball. The value is still crazy. So yeah, then after that, your warden picks a side. I think I've done a video on Fireball Rocket Loons before. Yeah, your warden picks a side. You can force him to a particular side. It's planned. You have a lot of hours to plan your hits. But yeah, me, I just mostly wait for him to pick a side. Here, he picked the left side. And then furnaces. I have furnaces behind him. This is my Fireball Rocket Loon army with furnaces. It just helps to speed up the warding. And then you can see, if you saw how it took out those skellies, you will see how it takes out the skellies very early, easily. If not, your warding will just sleep on one spot. So yeah, I just dropped the skeleton spell for my warding because there are lots of single target defenses here. Over here, I just sent my king and my queen, and then the siege barracks. I didn't see. If you see flame flinger value, you can take advantage of it. If you don't see, you can drop your siege barracks to help your king and your queen to move faster and move more inside into the base. So yeah, king and queen are moving. If it was more, with time, I could have just used an extra skeleton spell, dropped a free spell, taking a second skeleton spell for the monolith. It will not lock onto my king early on, but then yeah, just pop his ability. Wait for your queen to go closer into the core, and then you pop her ability. This was 1 HP. I just dropped the rocket loon. You have rocket loon to just complement either your warden, your king and your queen, and then your RC. Your RC is mostly for cleanup. If you get every single thing right, your RC is mostly for cleanup, or you end up swagging her. So that's what I did on this base. Took out the CC, rage the queen instead of the warden. One of them will need the rage, or none of them. You can see I have 3 invis. If I use the rage on the warden, I'll use the invis on the queen. Here I used both because I wanted to take that out. So yeah, I used my RC ability. I have a rocket spare, and Rocket Spear and Seeking Shield. So it just depends on what is best for the base. And then you can see I swag 3 spells. You can swag your RC with this army. It's very easy. Also, any one of those bases with rage, heavy rage compartments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be the 6th FC. It should also be Fireball Rocket Loan. So yeah, you can see this one. This one has one rage comp. This comp here, you can also Fireball it. So here, I think I took Flame Flinger value. If you see Flame Flinger value, take all that outranges the Flame Flinger is mostly mortars and then ground expo. Every other thing, the monolith, the Flame Flinger should be able to reach. Now, Flame Flinger here, then warding here. You can see I tested for traps and there were 2 traps here. So here, you can just straight up land the Fireball and then your 2 quicks. It's not rocket science. Just be very careful. Here, I could have even chosen to land my Fireball immediately I set him up. Just Invis here and Invis here, and then I can land the Fireball. But I don't know why I decided to take the Expo first. It's a bit risky sometimes, so just be careful. Put eyes on your warding. You have spells. Don't be greedy. That's one thing. Don't be greedy. I used to be greedy sometimes. Test for traps, left, right, if there are any traps to kill any of your healers or stuff. So Ice Block spell, then 1, 2, Fireball into the Rage Tower. As I said, if you land on the Rage Tower itself, you're clearing the entire compartment. So yeah, at this point, what do? You wait for the warden to pick his side. You can force him to his side that you want, but I just mostly pick his side because this is a 30-second plan. So this people also use 3 loons to redirect him. So if I want to send him to this side, I'll send 3 loons in this way, and then I'll redirect him in that direction. So yeah, Furnaces in behind the guy just to make things speed up in case of any skeleton spells. He clears it up quickly. So he has picked the left side, and I'll send my king and queen to the right side of the base, and then eventually he will head into the core of the base. You can see this base only has 3 buildings in the core. You can use mass invis on these bases, they would work, but I don't know, they're not just always the best thing to use. So once your warden is safe, then you start your king and your queen. Don't try to just take your eyes off your warden like that, except you're an expert in this strategy. Some people can multitask very well, but if you're using a mobile device like a phone, it's going to be very hard for you to multitask, except you're a very, very big pro. So yeah, king and queen into here was an invis compartment, but all I needed was my king ability. Took out the invis tower, and then boom, warden was locked onto by the monolith, so I gave him a rage spell. That's the rage spell. I have only one. It's either the queen that takes it or the warden that takes it. If none of them need it, I drop it on the RC or I just swag it. So yeah, you can see at this point there's only one compartment left. Warden can choose. If warden goes to the left side and queen takes out this compartment with the invis, she has like 3 invis left, then there will absolutely be no need for the royal champion. But then my warden, I think my warden joined my queen, and then this compartment is left. So what do? You send your RC into that compartment. You have spells for her. She has a fox. So yeah, sometimes you can even take a quick. If you use a quick and pair it with the Seeking Shield and the Rocket Spear, it takes out buildings faster. So these are things that you can plan with more time. It's 24 hours or 23 hours to plan your hits. So don't be in a hurry. Pick the base that is best for you. This is Fireball Rocket Loon. So let's go to Fireball Root Rider. So these bases too, you can also do Fireball Root Riders on them. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Should be Fireball Root Riders. So yeah, these are double rage base. You can do Fireball Rocket Loons on this base too. Maybe your warden takes out here, then he... Wait, let me map that out. He takes out this part, then you move him here or you move him here, depending on the one that you feel he will survive better with. That's with Fireball Rocket Loons. But then with Fireball Root Riders, you take this out and then you funnel the warden with the Root Riders and then overgrowth and then, you know, finish up on the final compartment. So yeah, but on this one, I was trying to do it and then my warden walked. I tried to pull him with my king, but he had his own plan. So I ended up doing it like a Fireball Rocket Loon, but you see it. Take that out. I don't think I needed to take that out. Sometimes don't just wait and your warden can die. There could be traps here and then Teslas here. You just be in soup. So yeah, invis and then just ice block and then 1 invis, and then I took out the entire compartment. Then the CC building, poison on it. Then this was the part I was supposed to put my warden and then just start. You can see he has already created a funnel with the fireball. If you're familiar with my channel, you know how fireball road riders work. So yeah, pull him, but then he went to the top side. So all I did was just continue the same light. I ended up doing it like a fireball rocket loon, where I'll send my king and my queen in here with a wall breaker, ice golem, and then they will just pop the ability and then this. But then with the root riders, I don't know if the root riders don't really make a difference. Honestly, they didn't get too much value and I think they died early. But yeah, troop throughout because root riders die easily. This, you have stuff to keep your warden alive. You have a free spell, you have invis spell, have a headhunter. I saw that immediately, so I dropped the headhunter for him. So don't panic when any of these things happen. Just continue with your plan, this in this direction, and then your warden, all you have to do is take notes or just keep track of your warden. Now the overgrowth of the tower hall will soon expire, and then here you have your rocket spear to go. And then I also had a quake, so I just quaked it. Rocket Spear. Queen was also inside. Then King was the one going along the outside. He still has his quick boots and spiky ball. So yeah, froze the Crusher Mortar because it's very deadly against Root Riders. So yeah, I think all my Root Riders are dead. But then every single one of my hero is still alive. Every single one of my heroes are still alive. Then my King ability, just pop it. Ice Golem there. Everything is just clean up at this point. I still have my 3 Invis left. So don't panic when any of these things happen to you. So let me show another Fireball Root Rider strategy. I think that one is a lot cleaner. Live defense. I haven't done my hits today. But you're 6-1-3-2. So yeah, this is the second to the last one. Here, this is also Fireball Root Riders. So yeah, you can see a compartment along the outside. Once you see a Rich Tower along the outside, best thing to this Fireball, if you have a Fireball player, you should do that. If it's a heavy Fireball into the core, they can also navigate that. So this is just a bit of a summary into it, not full on guide on every single one of the strategies. So here, just a bit of a wording work. Let me speed it up. This, you can have your rocket loons here. I always have the rocket loons to help minimize invis that we use on this strategy or on the Fireball. So yeah, this, and then at this point you just clear the funnel here. No, you just have to pick a side, either this way or this way to drop your. If I went in this way, I overgrowth this stuff like this. I went in this way and I overgrowth this stuff like this. So you can go in any way, just whichever one suits you and whichever one, you know, your wording will not work. Skeleton spell for the monolith, everything going in this direction. Now, this is the kind of base that I would typically do mass invis. But then you can also do Fireball because of this compartment that was here. But then mass invis into here will just crush the entire base. You will see how the overgrowth spell works here because there's a bit of a dead zone here. So it's hard for troops to pass. You can see it's only 2 Root Riders went in here, but then I think my King rerouted. But it would work, it would crush, but then it's not just my recommended strategy for it, just because of this minor things like this. If it was a mass invis, all you have to do is send your RC in there and then boom. So here my King went inside and then just pop his ability. The entire core is gone. That's one thing about sending your King into the core of the base. So yeah, King ability, cleared out the Crusher Mortar, the Rage Tower, the Splitter, the Multi Inferno, and then everything was just cleaned up. I have a lot of spells. I took out the CC in with my Fireball, so I didn't need the poison spell. But then you can also carry it. You can choose not to carry it. You can edit your army. So I'll just drop every single one of the armies and then the bases, 5 bases, 5 armies, and then the final army is going to be double overgrowth Root Riders. I don't need to say much about. Was I tripled? Yeah, I was tripled. Sad. Very high Legends League. I think that this account is on like 6172. I'm hardly getting any defenses. I think I got minus 320 yesterday as well. So double overgrowth Root Riders, I don't need to say much about this. Everybody knows how it works. Just do a bit of a funnel, then your Root Riders here, you can overgrow the Town Hall and stuff. And then this. So you can also use your Eternal Tome and then Heal Tome depending on how it sees. I recommend Eternal Tome for high damage bases like double Rage Tower bases, or you know, you're going into a Rage Tower, but this is double poison, so you can just negate the damage with a heal tome. You don't need to do too much. So here I went into it. You can also have 6. I have 6 invis on this one. I don't have any free spell, so you can have 5 invis and a free spell. You can also have 4 invis and then just take a heal spell and then an Eternal Tome. I have that army, but I think this is the default one. I will share in the description, so make sure to check it out and make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. I would also try and drop Legends League videos. I know I've been promising that, but as you guys saw, whenever I'm recording live, I make a bunch of mistakes. So I don't know. But then the new season is coming next month or in the next 5 days or so. So stay tuned for new content as always. I hope I can be more consistent because I always just say it, but then it's not always the case. But I just hope I can be more consistent. Pray for me regarding that. And then I'll see you guys in my next video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ciao.